Let's continue to talk about the open and write. In the last lecture, we talked about print and the installation of Anaconda, the IDE of Spider. Now we continue to talk about the very often used functions open and write. So open and write and the corresponding function close is used to open a existing or not yet existing TXT or other type of data files, and you write the data into this file and close it. So first we use f equals open this hello world.txt write w. So here hello world.txt is a file name. This file name has to be quoted to indicate that this is a string. So the open is a function. Okay, it's a function with two parameters, and the first parameter is the file name under the current folder. Remember, it's a file name under the current folder because you have a lot of folders in your computer and each folder has its own path. If you want to indicate which file that you want to open under which folder, you have to specify the specific file and folder's location. Here, because we don't have anything here, we just have hello world.txt. So it is assumed that this file is under the current folder, the current working folder. Okay. And the second function is w. It's also quoted. W is indicating write. You write something into this file. There is another parameter value called a. It's indicating append, and also some other parameters. You can find all of these parameters usage in the documentation. We use the open function to open the existing or not existing file. What do I mean by this? Let's do some practice. So for example here, what is my current working folder? My working folder is a folder that I used last time, or the folder indicated here. Okay. Now I want to open a file here in my HKU Teaching FinTech Hello World. I first specify the path. Why do I specify the path? Because I want to open the file under this folder, this Hello World folder. A little bit different than the PowerPoint slides is that I use f equals open. I still have two parameters. The first parameter is a little bit more complicated than the slide, than what's on the slide. The slide is hello world.txt. Now I have the path plus os.set plus hello world.txt. What does this mean? We first need to import OS. OS is a package. This package has a lot of functions, and one function is called os.sep. Okay, so os.sep under Windows operating system, it is basically a quoted, a / and double slash, and the path. Since I have specified that the path is this string, remember that I put an R before the quotes. Because under some operating system, if you don't put the R before this, and it will not be passed. So path is, you see, even though you put the R before this, indicating it's taking the role form to convert the slash to double slash here, then pass is still a string. We talked about in the last lecture that the operator plus is to connect different strings together. So here the path plus os.set plus hello world.txt is basically this thing. Okay. You do not have to put R before this if you name the path, let's say path 2, as change or the slash, double slash. And you have path 2 here. So the path 2 is the same as path, but when I generate the variable path, the string, I put R before the quoted part so that the slash will be automatically converted to double slash to save my time. So when I do this, f equals open path plus os.set plus separate plus hello world.txt w, you see what happened. So here you see that the folder is empty, okay? It's empty. And then when I type this, you will see a file here. The file's name under this folder is hello world. And if you open it, you find that this is empty. Actually, it is opened twice. I opened it, but actually it is already opened by Python. You don't see Python opening this file because it's opening it in the memory. You cannot see it now. Now I want to write something into this file because it is already opened. This whole function, this open function is equivalent as you double click this with your mouse and you open it. And the f.write, this function is equivalent as you type something here. Okay. For example, let me do f.write. I want to write something. What I write? You have to write some string into this file. Well, double quote and single quote are the same. So let me just use a double quote and say, I have a cell phone. Okay. Then you open it. You find that, well, it's not being written into this file yet because I have not closed it to save it. Let me see it now. See, I have a cell phone. This string is being written into this file without typing this string into this file directly as we usually we used to write. So to talk about the W, the second parameter of the open function, let's do an experiment. We opened it, we have already opened it, but we closed it. So let's do f equals open plus pass plus os.set plus hello world.txt w again. Now let me write something different. If you still remember, I'm using the arrow, the up and down arrow to get what to obtain what I just typed in before. And I want to write f.write hello world. Okay, then I close it. What do I have in this file? You find hello world. What is gone? I have a cell phone. That sentence is gone. Because if you use the W parameter, what has been in this file will be removed, will be overwritten by the next sentence or the next information you have input. If you want to save the previously available information, what do? Use append. Now I open this file again, but with the second parameter being a. And now I write something different. For example, hello world for the second time. And now I close it. And I open this file. What do I see? I find hello world for the second time. You probably see, well, it's connected together. How do I separate them? Do I have a way to separate them? Yes, but you have to indicate. You have to specify it in your program, in your code. If you don't do that, if you don't input anything special, then the next information, the next sentence will be directly appended at the end of the first sentence that you previously input. So if you want to change a line, let's open this file again with the parameter a, so that I do not overwrite what I have before. You have to write for the third time, and you wanted the third time in the different and a separate line. You should use /n. /n is to separate it is indicating changing a line. Okay, and I close it. What do you have here? You have hello world for the second time, but you have a space here. You have a space because I have a space here. How do I remove this? How do I remove this? I can write as n, then plus. I should do a fourth time, but it doesn't matter. You see, then I have, you change a line, then you have hello world for the third time. It should be the fourth time, I forgot to change it. Okay. Remember, this is the following information can be appended into this file without overwriting the previous information because we use the second parameter a. Okay. If you check the online documentation, just Google the documentation of open and write. You will find all the available parameters and the parameters and their values, and the corresponding usage of these values and parameters. So let's do something interesting. Now, what is this code doing? I still open it. Remember, I use the write, so that means all I have previously written into this file will be removed. And then I make a for loop. If you haven't learned it, it's fine. For loop basically means that, say, for I in a list 1, 2, 3, 4, then you print I, then you will find 1, 2, 3, 4 being printed. Okay, and for I in a range, for print I, you will find that I will be printed from 0 to 3. Remember that in a range function, you always start from 0. For all the variables taking values in Python, the first value should be 0. Okay. What is range? Range, well, it doesn't really say something. So range is saying we have a list of numbers from 0 to 1. So if I open this file, we have opened this file, hello world, and I do this. For I in range 20, f.write. What am I doing? I'm doing hello world. I have a space here, okay? Then plus, why can I just put I here? No, if you put I here, I is a number. Okay, for every value that I takes in the range 20, I is a value, is a numerical value. But you use a plus operator to connect hello world, a string, with a numerical value. It will give you an arrow. Okay. Now this is to change a line. This is what we have talked before. To see why it doesn't work, let's do this. Hello world. This is a string plus 1. 1 is numerical number. You will find an arrow. And the type of arrow says, the warning sign says, it must be a string, not an integer. So how do we change, how do we convert a numerical value into an integer? We talked about this before, the conversion of the data types. We use the str function. Okay. If you do this, you will find it's a hello world 1. So let's do this again. We are the file hello world.txt is still open. For I in range 20, you write this string into the file. Well, we can do another thing. We can first print out the string. See what will happen. Okay. I print out hello world 0, 1 to 19 because I have range 20. It starts from 0 and ends till 19. In total, 20 numbers. And all of this should be written into this file. Let's close it first. And you see, all of them have been written into this file. To make it a little bit more complicated, you can write all of them together. Okay? And this is a code. And I can write hello world for the ith time. So you have hello world for the 0th time, 1, 2, but this is a little bit not consistent. It should be the first time, second time, third time. You should not have the th after 1, 2, or 3. So to change this is also easy. You can use either dictionary or if then to indicate and correct the exceptions. But since we have not learned it, I'll just leave it for now. And this is simply the open and write and close functions. So we learned several things from this practice. Open, write, and close. We have touched a little bit about the for loop, okay, and the function range, and also the package OS. Why do we have the os.set? Because in Linux and Mac OS and other operating systems, sometimes you use slash, sometimes you use double slash, sometimes you use different separators to indicate that the subfolders are the parent folders, some folders and subfolders. So if you don't want to remember all of them, you can just basically use os.set, and this package will adjust the output of this function according to the current OS of your computer and Spider and where this Anaconda, your Anaconda, has been working on. What if I want to write number, a string and a sentence into a file, but a separate file? What if I want to create different files, and in each file I have a different name for it, and I write different things into this file? We just need to modify this code a little bit. That is, we first still indicate the path, and let's delete this for now. For I in range 20, we open the file, but a different file for each I. This file's name should be path plus a separator. Hello world. Remember, for each I, we do not just open hello world.txt. We open hello world plus I plus .txt. So this whole thing is a string, and the string generated by connecting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strings. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Path, os.set the separator, hello world, and the I, being converted to string, and the .txt, another string. For each file, we override if this file has already existed in this folder. And we write hello world, let's say for the ith time. Ith time. And what will happen? See, the folder is currently empty. And now you automatically generate 20 files. It's 20 files. And let's close it. And for each file, you have a different file name and different sentence in this file. So this is a very brief introduction of open and writes. Remember that write and close are both attributes of a class. What is a class? A class is a class of, in English, is a group of similar objects, similar things. For example, dog. You can create a class of dog. And dog has several attributes. One is, say, bark. The dog can bark, dog can walk, dog can bite. Then you can give a specific object under this class, the realization. For example, F is such a case. Say we create Snoopy under the class dog, and we can use all the functions of this class for Snoopy. Then we can use Snoopy.bark, Snoopy.walk, Snoopy.bite. Okay, so write and close are both attributes of a class. And this is the end of open and write, the creating and writing things into a file. And we will talk about the core part of the very basic part of Python, the string list, the dictionary, and tuple in the next video.